Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. So this weekend marks the return of Vasyl Lomachenko. He is fighting in Australia against George Kambosos for the vacant IBF lightweight title. Now I have to admit, I'm not really all that excited for this fight. Mainly because I've never really rated George Kambosos all that highly. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's an okay fighter, he's solid enough, but I said this directly after the Teofimo Lopez fight which he won. I felt that fight was a bit of a red herring. I felt he caught Teo at a good time. I don't think Lopez was concentrated at all. His head was somewhere else. And for me, George Kambosos was just in the right place at the right time. Since then, he was completely outboxed by Devin Haney twice and arguably lost to Maxi Hughes, who we recently saw get destroyed by William Zepeda. The fact that Kambosos is going life and death with Maxi Hughes, to me, is a better reflection of his level, more so than the win over Teofimo Lopez. This is a guy who was going life and death with Lee Selby, a blown-up featherweight, Mickey Bay, an old lightweight who was never that great. For me, like I said, Kambosos was the type of fighter who kind of lucked out, had his moment, capitalised, fair play, made a lot of money, but, I think his level has been exposed now. He is a mid-tier contender, low-level top 10 at best, and I think you'll see that again in this fight. Quite frankly, if Lomachenko has anything left, he should win this fight comfortably. And for me, given he's been out of a ring for quite some time, given the result of his last fight, he needs to put on a show and, garner some excitement, in my opinion. I think he needs to make a statement in this fight with George Kambosos, and I think he can do. He's fighting away from home, but he always does. So there's that risk. But aside from, fighting Kambosos in his hometown and things of that nature and what comes with that, I don't really see Kambosos posing much of a challenge for Lomachenko. At lightweight, it's really been the physicality that Lomachenko has struggled with. Kambosos isn't a massive lightweight. He's not a big puncher. For me, he doesn't come across as all that strong. And skill for skill, he's nowhere near Lomachenko. So when I look at this fight, man, I just see a one-sided win for Lomachenko. And quite frankly, if he doesn't achieve that, I'd be rather disappointed. In fact, I'd question his standing right now in the lightweight division. Listen, Kambosos, tough guy. He'll come to fight, no doubt. But I believe he is severely outskilled in this fight. And yeah, he's the bigger guy, but he doesn't have the same level of physicality as a Teofimo Lopez, as a Devin Haney, even as a Linares, He doesn't have that level of physical advantage over Lomachenko, which again has been Lomachenko's main issue at lightweight. It's been the size of his opponents. And Kambosos isn't going to have the same level of physicality as the previous guys I mentioned. So I expect Lomachenko to win this fight and win this fight well. Whether he stops Kambosos is another question. Kambosos is pretty tough. He has shown a good chin, pretty durable, and he'll keep on coming. So while a stoppage isn't required, it would certainly be beneficial, but what is required, in my opinion, is a dominant win for Lomachenko. And should he do that, that pumps up certain fights in the lightweight division. In fact, I believe they will probably try to make Lomachenko versus Emmanuel Navarrete if they both win their next fights. I think that's what they'll try and do. So yeah, the fight is what it is. Not really looking forward to it all that much, to be honest, because I expect it to go one way. But it'll be interesting to see what Lomachenko has left, no doubt. The undercard is interesting. Not really interesting, actually, but there's one fight I want to get you guys to maybe watch out for. Imam Kataev versus Ricards Bolotniks. Kataev is a Russian light heavyweight prospect, 6-0 with 6 knockouts, 29 years old, very, very good puncher. He was a very good amateur over in Russia. In fact, he's actually still fighting in amateur tournaments as he's taking pro fights. So for me, I would rather see him focus on the pros as there is talent there. He's certainly a massive puncher, and he is fighting Ricards Bolotniks, who is his toughest challenge so far in his pro career. I expect Kataev to win, but you know, Bolotniks can take you some rounds, so we'll see how that plays out. Aside from that, on the undercard, Hemi Ahio will be taking on Lucas Brown in an 8-rounder at heavyweight. That could be fun for what it is. Lucas Brown is what, like 44 years old now? He's slow as molasses, he's a big lump, he can crack, pretty much shot to bits, but Hemi Ahio is not exactly a great fighter either. He got knocked out a couple of years ago by Faiga Apilu. So yeah, this one could be a bit of a bar brawl, you know, like a barroom brawl. There's going to be a lack of skills on display, but it could be a slugfest, so there's that to look out for as well. Also, Andrew Maloney is fighting Pedro Guevara for the WBC interim super flyweight title. That could be a good fight as well, you know, the Maloney brothers are usually in good fights, so I'm looking forward to that one as well. There's a couple bits on the undercard to look out for, but as for the main event, I expect Lomachenko to win this one well. Anyway, share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Del Boy, peace.